Today, we're going to discuss the fact that when women wear revealing clothing, it's up to the men to take that as a signal this woman wants to be respected for her mind. I'm not sure she thought that one through. Hey folks, it's God's Comic Brad Stine, and here's a concept we hear often that is certainly an honorable way for us as a culture to bring respect to women. Women say they want to be respected for their minds. Now, there are other things to admire about women than just their minds, which can be a metaphor for their aspirations and talents and dreams, which is certainly something that men should respect. But if you want to be respected for your mind, then today I'd like to engage it in something that women often are very reluctant to admit. The way you dress can often direct men's nature toward your figure and sexuality and away from your mind. So my question for women today is, do you believe you have any responsibility to how men see you? What I'm asking you is simple. Do you believe if you willfully choose to wear revealing clothes that are designed to emphasize your curvature, like yoga pants or tops that reveal your breasts and define your nether region so as to entice men to potentially sexually desire you, then are you not doing the exact opposite of what you proclaim you want? If you aren't able to use your mind to realize that emphasizing your body makes it impossible to focus on your mind, then your mind is severely lacking in justifying its wishes and its value. You have to choose to be willing to commit to abandoning overtly sexual clothing and let the chips fall where they may. Now, here's the truth. A woman can wear revealing clothes, skin-tight leggings, and barely their top, and when men are drawn to them sexually, by which the men have no option because we're literally born that way, then it's still true. The men are still responsible for their actions. Yet, what kind of a unsympathetic person would you have to be to have an open bar in an AA meeting? Yeah, I guess you could, but the narcissism and foolishness of saying, hey, I want a drink. Sorry you struggle, but that's not my problem. It's true, but so selfish and insensitive as to deny reason. But it's even more pronounced when we see women that continue to believe that they are not responsible for any decision they make in regards to how it affects men. One way you can always examine the illegitimacy of a movement is to be especially attentive to if it is equally fair to its rivals, or is it completely committed to its own agenda without concern for opposing ideas. If it's laser focused on its own perspective and literally ignores or unwilling to adjust when exposed for its intolerance, then you've got a perfect example of an ideology who claims to be driven by fairness but is fundamentally unfair. Let me give you another example of this technique in the extreme women's movement. Abortion. All right. There are women who actually believe and argue that if you are a man, you don't even get to have an opinion on abortion because you don't have a womb. Forget for the moment that no woman has ever gotten pregnant without a man. Well, except Mary, but that proves my point. If a woman can get pregnant without a man, God literally has to intervene. And every baby in human history has been exactly half of a man's DNA. But if only a woman having a uterus is an excuse to claim that when it comes to abortion, those without one cannot have an opinion, then why would it not also be true for men and their unique biology? I mean, we're designed with much higher doses of testosterone and programmed to be sexually stimulated by the sight of a woman's body, whereas women are not. I'm not saying women can't be sexually attracted to a man through sight, but not nearly as intensely as a man. Unlike a woman, a man can be interested and physically able to have sex with a woman he doesn't even know that he just noticed 3 seconds prior. Thus, when we're desiring you with simply a glance, you have no right to comment on that or to lust shame us. Since you're not a man, thus you can't understand our plight. But because the West was built on the Judeo-Christian concept that the sexual union is actually holy, then it's reserved for a man and a woman that promise their fidelity to each other for the rest of their life. You think having sex with as many people as possible is fulfilling and makes you something to be proud of? I don't know. How'd that work out for Jeffrey Epstein? Trust me, those of us who've been married for years know the power, the energy, and the freedom of sex. You players couldn't begin to understand, even if you paid someone to help you try. So ladies, let me end with this. Dressing overtly sexual to provoke man's lust is not only the opposite of empowering, it's demeaning yourself. Those of you who actually believe you're valuable and a treasure should live by the motto that if a man wants you, he's going to have to earn you. Those of you who've acquired the fine art of dressing tastefully feminine without the need to exploit your assets will indeed not receive the same amount of attention from every man that you pass by as other women might. Nope. Instead, you'll only be attracting the men that actually are turned on by honoring you and choosing to discipline his sexual urges for the hope that one day he will have the privilege of removing that attire to behold in all its glory the most beautiful, awe-inspiring artistic expression God ever created. Behold, a naked woman. The good news is he'll have earned the privilege. And best of all, ladies, you will have demanded he do so. If he wanted what no other man will ever have. That, my feminine friends, is the actual definition of empowerment. This is God's comic, Brad Stine. And remember, PC free is liberty. I know what you're thinking. That was an amazing episode. Well, listen, if you're on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube or Facebook, go picture me in a halter top, and that should empower you to go out and subscribe to Stine Has Issues. And do it now. I can't get much sexier than this.